Hi, I'm Rob.
And I'm Rob.
And this is Ask Rob and Rob.
Welcome to Ask Rob and Rob, the show where we enhance your knowledge of property, all thanks to some brilliant questions sent in by our listeners. We've got another 2 great ones coming up today, as we do every week. And it all works because you send in your questions and you do it like this.
Yeah, you head over to propertyhub.net/ask. There you'll be presented with a wonderful buffet of options. You can ring up and leave us an answer phone message, or you can leave a message on your computer. And if that wasn't enough, you even have the option to try and get your question in the Sunday Times by writing in. Whatever you prefer, it is all in that link, propertyhub.net/ask. All right, let's listen to our first question in, which is from Natalie.
Hi. My husband introduced me to your podcast when I was just about to invest in a property course that now seems like a scam. So I really appreciate you providing this information for free every week. We bought our first home 4 years back during COVID in Hoddesdon, Broxbourne, when house prices were slightly inflated. It probably wasn't the smartest move, but it suited us at the time. We are thinking to invest money into the property to get it ready for renting so that we can move to the southwest of England. We would use equity from this property to purchase a new home. I have calculated that rental yields would be around 6%. My husband really believes that over time, the capital growth on his property will be profitable. The bank valued our property at $440,000 and an estate agent valued it at $400,000. We bought it for $392,000. The estate agent recommended that we don't sell it at this time. My question is, do you agree with this strategy, or do we sell it, buy our new home in the southwest and use equity from the new property to invest in the north of England where capital growth and yields are better? My husband prefers the former, but from listening to your podcast, I'm more inclined to do the latter. Many thanks for your time.
Natalie, super pleased to hear that you saved some money and some potential heartache by not going down a property course route. There are some good ones out there, but there are a lot of sharks. And those sharks are very good at presenting themselves in a way that makes them seem very legitimate. But if people are charging excessive amounts for education and then they sell you more education when you start that education journey, be very, very careful. That's a piece of advice for everyone listening. Of course, Natalie was able to avoid that. So let's talk about your scenario, your situation. You've invested in a part of the world I know very well, just outside of London, and I completely understand your predicament. But the good news is it seems that you can purchase your new home in the southwest of England without having to sell this property, based on what you've said. Now, if that's true, I would hold the property that you have for now, because as we've discussed on the podcast at length recently, it's more of a buyer's market than a seller's market. So if you don't have to sell, I'd hold, because at some point, the market will go back in your favor and it'll become an opportunity to sell again. But at the moment, because it's a good buyer's market, you can get a property in the southwest for hopefully a good price and a good deal. So that's your upside there, but you're not hurt on the downside selling into a market that isn't that favorable at the moment. Now, it goes region by region, but as you are in a commuter area to London, we know that that particular market where Hoddesdon, Broxbourne isn't particularly strong right now. So if you can hold, wait for the market to improve and then sell. And also if you can buy right now, do so because the market is favorable. I appreciate we talk about shiny things like the north of England and the Midlands and all the other places we talk about on a regular basis that look attractive to invest right now. And they are more attractive than the areas that you've discussed. But with all the transaction costs involved, the fact there's not much equity in the property, I still don't think it's worthwhile. Which, sounds odd, right? We say, oh, this great thing you should be doing, but this is proof it's not great for everyone. And I love it when we can get into the detail of someone's strategy to give examples of when it's not right for someone. And based on what you've said, Natalie, I don't think it's right for you. So just be patient, sit on it for a while. You've still got assets. You still will see them grow in value over time. And with that patience, I hope you are rewarded in the near future. Good luck.
Okay, let's hear our next question from Juliet.
Hi, Rob and Rob. My name is Juliet. I'm an avid listener. I've been listening to your podcast for about 5 or so years. So thank you very much for all your content. I'm in the process of buying my third buy-to-let property. And I just wondered what your thoughts were on buying a holiday-only property. So for a holiday rental rather than your standard buy-to-let. It's not something I have any experience in, a holiday-only property. So I'd love to know your thoughts on the risks and if there are any benefits at all for that. Thanks so much.
Juliet, thank you. Thank you for listening for all this time as well. And congratulations on being on to number 3. Now, when you say a holiday-only property, I'm not sure if you mean here that there's some kind of restriction that means it can only be used for holiday purposes. That's unusual, but it is something that you see in certain areas. So that would mean that you could only use it for holiday let use. You may mean that, or you may mean just a holiday let where that's the intention, where you plan to only use it for short-term lets. That first situation, if that is what it is a little bit more risky, well, quite a bit more risky, because you don't have any kind of fallback. If anything affects the holiday letting market in that area, or you just don't want to be doing that anymore for whatever reason, because it turns out to be more of a hassle than you thought, then you haven't got that fallback of, well, I'll just convert it into a buy-to-let. Because at least with another property where that's just what you've chosen to do, yeah, you might need to make some changes. You might need to change the mortgage product and it might not be the ideal thing to do, but at least you have the option of changing it back into a buy-to-let if for some reason you need to and you're not able to sell. If what you're talking about, though, is that second situation where you are just buying a property with the intention of using it as a holiday let, then I think the thing to be aware of, it is very, very different. I would think of it as a completely different business model from buy-to-let. They both just happen to involve property. They really are that different. With the buy-to-let, it is, of course, when things are going well, extremely passive. If you buy in the right area, you've got a pretty much guaranteed source of demand. If someone leaves, you bring someone in to replace them, and you're not going to get rich off the rent, but over the long term, you end up doing very, very well through a combination of the property price going up, magnified by the leverage in the form of your mortgage. Holiday lets I'd think of more as a business than an investment. That's not an official categorization, but it's how I think about it. Because this is more a business where you have to really work for your customers. Even in an area of high demand, there's going to be a lot of competition. So you have to work to get your customers in. You have to be dynamic with your pricing. You have to be really working on getting your occupancy rate as high as it can be, because that is the difference between profit and loss. And of course, there's far more work to be done because you've got people moving in and out all the time. And yet you can find agents who can take potentially all of that on for you. But even if they're doing it brilliantly and you're never getting involved, which I'd say is probably a bit of a dream, but even if that does happen, what you've got in terms of an outcome is pretty unpredictable cash flow. You could be making great money at some times and losing money at other times. And there's also, I would say, a lot more risk from various sources. So we've already seen recently that there were lots of tax advantages which have been taken away. So that was a regulatory risk. There's also the risk that trends just change and demand in that area falls. That's something we've seen in recent years as well, where some areas have been really badly affected because there's a lot of supply, there was a lot of demand, that demand drops, and suddenly, what are you going to do? And that's not something that tends to happen with a buy-to-let. You could have an area that goes downhill, but that's going to happen very slowly over a very long period of time. So it sounds like I'm doing holiday lets down, and I don't mean to do that. I'm just saying that they are extremely different. So that's a real whistle-stop tour of the risks and the benefits. We've got videos about this on our YouTube channel as well. We'll have covered it on episodes in the past, so you can go to podcast.propertyhub.net, do a search for holiday lets, and that will bring up more material there if you want to keep on learning about it. Because I would say the question here, Juliet, is this right for you? And that's something that only you can work out. And the best way to work that out is by learning as much as you can. So I hope that helps, and good luck with whatever you choose to do.
Julia, a knowledge bomb there from Mr. Rob Dix. You should be well positioned to make a good decision from here on in. And you know what else is a good decision? Joining us on Thursday for the Property Podcast. So until that wonderful event takes place, take care, have fun. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.